Welcome back, everyone, to Hard Hat Talks, the podcast where we dive deep into the concrete industry to learn more about people's stories, their beginnings, and the lessons that shaped who they are today, both on and off the job site. Each episode, we sit down with industry leaders, plant operators, suppliers, finishers, and everyone in between. Chris Greiner is joined with our special guest, Kenny Niematelo. In this episode, Kenny shares his family stories, how they got into the concrete business, and made their way into Trinity, North Carolina. He talks about how over the years American Concrete has grown to specialize in large scale warehouse construction and what it takes to retain talent. Kenny also opens up about his experience competing on American Ninja Warrior and what that journey taught him. Let's jump right into the episode.
Appreciate you taking the time.
I'm super honored to be here.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
you guys having me in
Oh,
here.
yeah, man.
Start talking about people. That's my language. So
It is, man. That's the love language. So I guess we'll just start it off. Where'd you grow up? What was life like as a kid, man?
well, I was born in New Hampshire, uh, back in the late '80s. My dad and a couple guys decided to move down here for a business opportunity and start a concrete company. So we ventured down this way when I was about 4 years old, um, and grew up right here in Trinity, little Trinity, North Carolina.
I used to call Trinity like the king of concrete because it was like Ace, American. Back then it was Kaler. It was like
all in the same zip code.
it was like
Big
man,
concrete.
everybody does and it was some big, I mean, really good sized companies to this day.
Yeah, a lot of those people that work for all those companies. They all come from the same area up there, New
Yeah.
Hampshire, the New England area. A lot of
Yeah.
Finnish heritage.
Yes. Yes.
Big family you guys have, huh?
Yeah, so I'm the oldest boy of 10 kids. My parents were family first. Business was obviously important to raise a family, but family was always first. And so yeah, I got to grow up with a lot of siblings.
Yeah, so I wonder, like, I always think about this. New Hampshire it's like a mecca for guys that do concrete, and they all came south. But it's like, how did is that big in Finland, like concrete trade or
No, I think just the Finnish heritage, the culture. They're just very make it happen kind of people.
Yeah.
A lot of what they call sisu or grit or never stop.
Yeah.
And it takes that kind of a guy to do concrete. So
for
or
sure.
construction in general. So
Yeah,
a lot of people from the Finnish realms that I come from are in construction in general.
Yeah. So I'm that your dad started a company. That's how you got into construction. You're like, your dad's like, here, this is how you do this when you're a young age, and instead of farming or whatever, he's like, this is what we do, and he teaches you and your brothers how to do concrete. I'm assuming.
Yeah, so my dad actually grew up on a farm in Oregon, so he was very familiar with hard work
Yep.
and round the clock work and making things happen. So when we started, we were able to just get around the house and able to do chores. It was every Saturday morning. We're down loading up the garbage in to go to the dump and getting our weed eating and mowing and firewood and whatever else we need to get go. All the work came first and the play came if we had time, type of mentality.
So you were homeschooled?
No, we went public school, but that was like Saturday mornings
Gotcha.
when we wanted to go fishing and hunting and stuff. We had to get the work done first.
You went to school after you poured 1,100 yards in the morning. I mean, that's what I'm going with. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
So how come your family came to North Carolina? Was it because over there up north you can't really pour concrete in the cold, super cold, or
No, the roots of the concrete world, like Chris was saying, there's S&S and a lot of those. I mean, there's probably 24 concrete companies up there in those same realms now.
Yeah.
Concrete that, everybody needs concrete. But no, my parents moved down. I think it was more just they wanted somewhere to raise a family that was a little more healthy for the values that they had.
Yeah.
And then the business opportunity opened up. So they moved down here and started A Savant with Tracy Matson and all the Matson boys. So I grew up with that crowd running around the shop over there, stacking wet cure blankets and whatever else. Uncles worked in the shop, so Zach and I'd be out there on the riders just driving them around in the shop when we were probably 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, we grew up in it deep.
Yeah. Around concrete culture, basically,
Yeah.
whole life.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. So who would you say, I guess, at that age, who had the biggest influence on you growing up?
Oh yeah, definitely my dad. I mean,
Yeah.
I think every boy's dad is his biggest influence. Like it or love it, that's that's a big responsibility, big role. And
Yeah.
seeing my dad, make the moves he did back in the day, I'm realizing more and more as time goes on how how he stepped out and did some big things and had a bunch of kids and did a lot of things our culture says doesn't really say is right these days.
Right.
So I have a lot more respect as I get older for my parents, but especially my dad. I'm the I'm the second kid, oldest boy in my family. So, but I've got two younger brothers that work in the business. They've been there. Pretty much all of us have been since we were able to drive or get dropped off
Yeah.
at the job site, the tire rebar. So yeah, it's having the work ethic that my dad more or less forced on us. Um, has given us a big platform there at American Concrete to grow and um, just learn the business even better.
Yeah, and it's refreshing and it's awesome to see what the culture they built. Man, I talk to Kenny all the time, and it's like, people are. That's how we run, man. It's like, so what he's done, and the guys that work there, first class. I mean, they've built something you don't see every day in America, I
Yeah.
guess. So it's awesome. It's refreshing to see, um, and it influences me on how I try to run this business. To be honest with you, so.
Well, appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, no. I
That's
mean,
pretty big compliment there.
yeah. It's. I mean, every bit of that. So it's like I love to have lunch with him and pick his brain. We can never stop learning, and I always think people in business or just people in general, you can always learn something from somebody else.
Yeah.
And how to deal with people is probably the hardest part of our business in this day and age when you can't find a whole lot of people that want to work or great work ethic because they didn't maybe they were raised without a father or they didn't
Mm-hmm.
come up the right way or just nobody's ever pushed them to work. So it's hard and it's good to talk with people to give you ideas for your business. It really is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd say personally for myself, we're extremely blessed. I mean, it's not just um, we're very blessed with like I said from my beginning, having a parent structure and expectations and guidance on that end, but just like you said when we first started this, it's about people. Everything business. We're in the people business. We do concrete, but we're in the people business.
Yeah.
The value, there's value in the riders and the screeds and all the tools, but the people are what make the business.
That's right.
So we're very very blessed to have our business is very faith focused. Every meeting we have, whether it's at our office or on the job site, we pretty much lead with prayer. Because we know where the blessing comes from. We know where we know where everything comes from.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we're honoring God in everything we do, every decision we make, because that business is it provides for us, but it's a big tool. It's a big tool, and it's God's given us responsibilities or in the business or in this world to he's entrusting us with that. So if I go out and work every day, and I've been there, if I won't go out and work every day, but my mission is only to put a paycheck in my pocket, man, getting up on Monday morning sucks.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
brutal.
That's right, man.
So
And me and my wife talk. This is the biggest mission field I have at work to disciple people and build people up. Man, everything is where you work. I mean, you work with these people every day, all day, more than you're with your family sometimes. So it's like, what better way to disciple or speak life into people than at work?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I'd much rather want to work with people who are work hard in a good mood than that guy, and it's like, man, it brings you down. So if you can have positive people working with you, it makes life better.
Yeah, definitely having a good culture in that sense. But it also, if you have a good overall culture, um, man, I like when I get that guy that's just kind of down in the dumps that day. It gives you an opportunity to go have a conversation, see what's going on.
Yeah.
How's your weekend? What's going on? Oh, okay, now I'm starting to understand why the battles you're facing.
Right. Right.
How can we help you get through these battles? Not just how do we set you up with all the tools to do the job and do a good quality job? That's important, but how can I help you, get up tomorrow morning, come to work a little bit, more positive outlook, and how are you affecting everybody around you? I think there's a lot of the idea of like my work people is my family. I think there's a lot of that idea out there. I feel like we truly have that. And we're working even more towards that with the culture we're growing. So you don't know until you're in it, and you see the memes all over the Facebook or social media where like, it's kind of mocking the boss says something about I thought you were family, and then it's like some goofy meme about just making fun of it. And it's like,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I haven't worked at a lot of other places, and I get how people can be taken advantage of through that word family. But I truly believe that we have a pretty solid structure of family with all our employees.
How many employees do you guys have?
We're right at the 50 mark. Yeah.
One big family.
That's a lot, man. And I mean, taking care and thinking about 50 people is a lot. I would say that's probably a lot on you, because you're like, I feel responsible for making sure everybody's going to have a paycheck and work and good Christmas and all that. So that's a lot of people don't, yeah, a lot of people think about running a business. So I was like, they put it up here, oh, he owns a business, whatever, but they don't understand everything that goes with it, from carrying the insurance and making sure people are going to have a paycheck and getting the work. And I mean, it carries a lot of weight, man. Yeah. At the end of the day, for me, the goal is to make sure families are taken care of. And that's what makes you feel good about, you got some business, which is great, but you're supporting all these people, man.
Yeah.
You're supporting families and kids, and that's what's awesome to me, I think.
Oh yeah.
About a business.
No, that's something that when times are real tough, it's a little harder to do that because you don't have the source of income to make sure everybody's getting a paycheck, and you might have to do some layoffs or this and that just to keep the nucleus of the business going. But no, we have been extremely blessed over the years, and when I came out of the field and moved into the office and went through some life stuff that I actually grew through and opened my eyes. One of my things when I moved into operation management was if everybody can if everybody goes home to their family and their family's happy with them working at American Concrete or PCS or wherever, that employee's probably going to stay there for a while. It's going to give you some longevity. It's going to give you some loyalty. So, and I've experienced that because, putting a lot of that responsibility you're talking about, where I have to make sure these things are getting done so we're being profitable, so these guys can get paychecks, or we can get these jobs in the next 5 to 6 months, so we don't have a dead area in there. I put a lot of that on myself at one point, and it drove me to some pretty bad anxiety and with some other things I had going on in my personal life. It was all intertwined, and man, it was not a good place, but I grew a lot through that. But it all circled back, helps me become a better manager of the business now that I know it's important that guy's getting those couple days to go be with his family, or he's not on a stay away 6 months out of the year. If we can keep our guys sleeping in their own beds, keep them home, work, try not to work any weekends, especially not Sundays. Sundays is important. Whether people go to church or not, everybody needs a day of rest. I mean, God ordained that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. When you said that, a lot of bigger concrete, and this has always been something in my brain, concrete companies go out of town, right? Or come in your town, and you're like, how's this guy sending all these guys putting them up in motels, per diem, whatever, fuel, equipment can beat a local customer. I always wondered how that works, and I don't know that. I mean, I have no clue how that works, but I know it does because I've seen it for 28 years now.
Hmm.
So, anything,
I think a lot of that goes to relational stuff. You know,
yeah,
if somebody same way you have a relationship with your clients or your
yeah,
employees, if a general contractor says, "Hey, this concrete company, these are our people.
yeah,
We, spend time outside of work with some of their PMs and their superintendents, and we have a trust. We don't have to worry if we're gonna get change ordered to death or
right,
this or
right.
that." I think that's all. A lot of that goes back to relational and
Relationships, yeah,
comforts. Yeah.
which is awesome because they're like, hey, we got this job. We're going to bring you with us. We know what kind of work
Hmm.
they do. We know the quality. We know everything about them, and we're a team partnership. And I get it. I always just wondered that though. I was like, how could somebody come here and take our jobs? But I mean, that makes a lot of sense because obviously they've worked for the GCs around the country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there could be more to it.
Right, right, right.
I don't. There's a lot of things in this
I
industry
like
I
I
don't
like the
understand.
answer though because it gave me something. I liked it. Yeah. So what have you seen? I guess over the years since you've been in the industry that's changed, like something you're like, man, it's a lot different than 20 years ago.
Well, I guess for this specific area locally, I mean, when I first started, I was running around pouring concrete. If we had one job in North Carolina a year, that was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought a house when I was 20 years old, and I think I slept in it maybe a dozen times that year.
Wow.
We were traveling Florida to Pennsylvania. I even did a job in California.
Wow.
All tilt up projects, or just a little bit of everything.
Those are all mostly slab projects, specialty slabs. There's a company we followed a little bit. They had a slab design, and we would go do all our place and finish at the time,
Right.
joint free systems and all that. So, and that was back in 2007, 2008 when there wasn't a lot of work
Yeah.
going out there, so we had to chase it a little bit more. And um, but no, I'd say that's one of the biggest differences I see now is man, there's so much work in our area right now, and it's pretty awesome to see. Um,
Yeah. North Carolina's booming, man. I feel like I see some kind of hashtag North Carolina's booming, and that's the truth, man.
Yeah, everywhere like Durham, Raleigh.
Golly, everywhere. I
I'm
mean,
too.
let's look at little Ashburn, man. We got Starbucks, man. And a Chipotle. I mean, it's out of control over here.
Yeah,
You know. I feel like if you work hard enough and you're putting yourself out there and you're trying, there's work.
yeah,
And that's what, for us, that's what we're going to continue to do is work hard. And I know you guys do. I mean, you guys are awesome, man. And
I'd also say another change I've seen, and maybe this was just because I grew up with Finns and we just do have things to make them happen. But the safety culture is probably a lot different over the last 15 years, 15 to 20 years. Um, I did some things on job sites that I would just scratch my head at some of our guys. Like, what are you doing? And I think back like, well, we were just making it happen.
Yeah.
16, 17 years old.
yeah. Same here, man. I remember wearing flip flops, loading rebar. I'm sitting there standing on top of rebar with flip flops like I'm Jimmy Buffett and could have hurt myself. And then I remember watching guys strap down a skid steer with a yellow strap through the, just no chains, nothing, just one strap through there. I'm like, how did we not have? We're just lucky, man.
They grab it and say
That'll work.
That'll work.
I mean, I've seen
That
them.
ain't going nowhere. What's
You
the
know
saying?
the little
Yeah, slap it on the back of the.
the little wooden sides people would build about, a foot high. I seen guys put mini excavators in that trailer with nothing on it but the wooden sides. And I'm like, going down Interstate 40, I'm like, this is crazy. But people did it. I mean, OSHA and, state troopers and everything now is a big difference. I don't even know, now I don't know how many times or how many chains I'm supposed to use or whatever. The rules change every day. I mean, we'll think we're right and we'll get a ticket for overweight or not on the right axle or whatever. So that's a whole nother topic we could talk about. OSHA and how to do things right.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm thinking back. I was on when I met you, Chris. I was on a job site late over off Union Cross Road. I was 16 years old, probably driving my own personal vehicle because we didn't have enough company trucks to go. And I was the extra guy or whatever. And I got nominated to stay and burn off the last little bit and saw cut, and because I was the new young guy, and I go grab the saw, and by the time I roll it over to where we're gonna start cutting, look back, and there's just a trail of parts. Couldn't get the thing to start, and I was like,
wow.
I called my boss. It was Justin Foltz. I called Justin. I was like, hey man, I don't know
Foltzy.
what we're gonna do here. I'm not gonna be able to cut this thing. And he said, hey, I'm gonna send you a guy's number right now. Give him a call. I was like, dude, it's 11, 12 o'clock at night. He said, no, don't worry, just call him. And it was Chris Greiner. Chris
Dude,
Greiner's
that's
number.
awesome.
And I called, and he met me at the shop,
Dude, that's
loaded me up a
awesome.
saw, drove back. You probably wonder what this little 100-pound kid was doing over here at your shop at midnight. But that's how the fins rolled, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like that's how we rolled. I mean, that's how we build our business. Customer service, doing things that other outside of the box that other people wouldn't do. But man, like to send some love to Justin because he's given me a lot of customers, man, and he's pushed a lot of people my way from here to Texas to Pennsylvania, and I mean, I always think about this business as in knowing people and treating people right and networking. It's really a good benefit. I try to tell my son that it's like, man, just work hard and you know get to know people and learn and network, get out there and because one day it's not always what it's who you know.
Oh, 100%.
And I mean, I stand by that, man. um so yeah, good stuff, man.
No, when we go to World of Concrete, I bring some new guys, and they're just like, man, I want to go see this. I mean, they've got their maps drawn out where they want to go or things they want to go see. And I'm like, I want to go see the people.
Yeah,
I want to go chat with
Yeah.
Tim Duty and
yeah,
see Justin Foltz over there and catch up with him, see how his family's doing, and see what's new in the industry. Because there's a lot of people, like you're saying, that their roots are deep in this industry, and they're going to know what's going on, the important things. And even if they're competitors or non-competitors or whatever, people that are deep in this industry, they're not hiding. They're here to help each other.
yeah. I think I seen that ASCC, is that
Mhm.
right? Of how these a bunch of concrete contractors around the United States get together and they give ideas and we did this or we fixed this out. It's like, man, that's pretty cool. That yeah, some of them are competitors, but it's like, man, they share secrets that like a brotherhood almost.
Oh, and they go, they get intimate too. The
Yeah.
American Concrete Society, or the American Society of Concrete Contractors,
Yes.
is what you're referring to, and they have the mixed group, is what they call it. So you'll go and like they won't match you up with somebody in your hometown,
Mm-hmm.
but they'll match you up with somebody kind of along the same business as you or around the country, and they'll get together every 6 months and say, hey man, I can't figure out why we are losing so much money at our shop. They'll have that conversation going, and somebody in that group will say, hey, we haven't figured out at our shop. You guys come to us this time, and you see how we operate, or whether it's something on the books or taxes. I mean, they get deep into it.
Yeah. Which is great resource, man. You really need more of that in business. And that's why I like to pick people's brain. I don't care if you're in the flooring business or pawn shop or whatever. It's just cool to pick people's brain in business.
If you're passionate about something, it's probably because you have some type of gifting in that area.
Yeah.
We're all different. All three of us have different giftings.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool to say, well, I'll use the example back at my office right now. We're talking through maybe need some help on the estimating side right now and what that looks like. And, I'll use my three brothers. So it's myself, my brother Isaac, and my brother David. And I'm good with people. I know how to put the right person in the right seat on the bus. I know how to, work through a lot of that stuff and, quality control and things. But my brother David has taken our estimating to a complete another level. I mean, he can roll through them he's got systemized on a computer. using blue beam and all this. I mean, it's just like my brain can't even comprehend how he does it.
Yeah.
He's
But-
setting the new standard.
But that's his gift.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
right.
his. He's operating in his gift and or his skills, and that's where I want him to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw him out there to go, run a group of 15 guys when he's going to expect all them to operate like him.
Right.
And that's not how management works. He's doing a phenomenal job there. If I try to jump in to help him, my brain just goes into overdrive. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. So so David is more on the estimating side.
So he's more than that,
Okay.
estimating, but all our technology, he's actually probably on a job site right now working through some model building for some 3D grading with robotic total station, 3D grading systems. He's working through one of our guys. He's been training on that for a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, we used to pull string lines and maybe turn 90s with a theodolite or something, and he's out there just down to a 16th of an inch elevations with a robot and building models and all this really cool stuff. And
That's incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible.
Technology, man, has changed a lot. I mean, technology in the industry, whether it be like robots and lasers,
Laser
screeds,
screed.
yeah, laser level, yeah, it's just that's cool stuff, man.
yeah, I think there's been an industry challenge there too with, we have generations of guys coming up that have grew up in technology.
Yeah,
I was kind of right in the middle. I mean, when I was 16, I got the Nextel push to talk, beep, beep, beep,
greatest thing
and that
ever.
was like, this is awesome. And now, kids are 3-4 years old on tablets and technology, touchscreen, everything,
Yep.
doing things that they're being trained a whole lot earlier.
Yeah,
And they have so much, they're wired that way.
yeah,
But then all the superintendents on job sites, they're all on the other end of that.
Yeah.
They don't. It's not that they don't. It's almost like they're not sure they trust it yet.
Yeah.
And it's getting there. So you almost have to have like a moderator between, or a translator, if you would, in construction, because you're on a job and the superintendent says, "Oh, we got this dolly pad here. Just get it in there." Well, a young kid can come out there with a total station and get it just perfect in about an hour. Whereas we used to pull strings and shoot a laser and do a little math and get it somewhat close. Well, now you have these young kids coming in and saying, "Hey, your dolly strip's 2 feet off this way and the elevation's 5 inches off." Things that are being exposed that weren't exposed before. They're
Right.
actually but then the older generation is like, "Oh, I just want you to make it happen." Well, who's going to moderate where that can give and where it has to be picture perfect?
Yeah.
It has a lot of the this like Trimble robotic total station for doing all our layout for our superintendents will do all our layout for anchor bolts and footings and stuff, and we have a couple guys that can run around and just verify, the day before we pour that all your anchor bolts, just double checks. Same instrument can be used for guiding laser screeds for screeding 3D valleys and ridges and things that you can't just pour with a flat laser. Just all the stuff on the laptops now with the Trimble Business Center where we can go in and do all that, manipulate the CAD files, and a lot of stuff I do not understand how to do, but we got the right people doing it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Technology is not my forte.
We've also, as far as technology, just basic tools. I don't know if we have any corded hand tools anymore.
Really?
Just a handful of hammer drills or something if you're drilling a lot of holes. But
So all battery now?
pretty much all battery.
At Milwaukee or DeWalt?
We got a mixed bag of everything. We got Bosch, Milwaukee, DeWalt. Different tools kind of excel in different areas.
Yeah.
Even
Hilti.
yeah, we've got some Hilti stuff. Hilti's good, but you know how it is. Things don't get taken care of as well as you'd want, and I don't want to pay premiums for things that are going to get gone or. We did just purchase a electric laser screed this past year, so
Wow.
we've got a 940E,
Yeah.
which is all battery. So
How's that?
it's
Love it?
Yeah, no, the machine's awesome. You think about, I think back to when I was running around these screeds raking, and you couldn't hear nothing. Your ears are ringing for days. Now you can literally have a conversation as you're screeding with the guy raking, filling holes, or hey, rake that, move this out of here, throw a little bit in here. No
It's like
carbon.
it's
No
like
carbon.
quiet like a Tesla.
It's got that. That's got that hum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a spaceship hum.
Yeah,
That's
no,
cool.
it's got its challenges. I mean, all this technology stuff's gonna have its growing pains, but
Yeah.
we like to stay somewhat on the front of that stuff. So, like we said, the younger generation's coming in. For example, rebar tie guns. The ideas of them have been awesome for a long time.
Yeah.
They never. We were almost forced into using them because when I was tying rebar in summers, it was wire wheel pliers and saddle ties, figure eights. Which are stronger ties for all your cages and everything. But the younger generation, if it ain't got electronics on it, they're a little bit lost with it.
Right.
So taking pride in a good tie is kind of a lost unless you're a rod buster these days. But if I've got 20,000 square feet of slab bar to tie, and I send 15 guys out there with wire wheels, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
If I send 5 guys with guns and batteries on them, they're almost excited to go.
Like cutting the time in half.
Yeah,
Man hours of time.
Right. So yeah, technology and tools has been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like speaking of the young guys coming up, I got my son is East Carolina construction management company. I'm trying to get him into the industry because I think it's the best industry. There's so much you can do. What kind of advice do you have those guys coming through? I mean, as far as like, I guess learning technology in this industry going forward is a big thing, right? Or like,
yeah. So this is where like we talked about, just having kind of need all worlds. We can take the best technology or the biggest rider or whatever and put it on a job, but if you don't know how to use it, it's kind of worthless.
That's right. That's right.
So especially guys coming through college, coming with a construction management degrees and stuff, like they're gonna learn a lot, but you need to get on the job site. You need to get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
You need to go and build and see how the stuff is actually done in real life, because the reality of a job site is we get a set of plans, and that's like a basis for it all, but it doesn't always work that way on a job site.
Right.
Very rarely does everything work all perfectly. So if a guy coming up with a construction management degree can get some time on job site, go and do the things your culture says you don't need to go get dirty, you don't need to go get callus on your hands like that. You can do that, and you might be an okay construction project manager or estimator at someday. But I was watching like my brother David, who he worked in the field for about 8 years, and we threw him into every nook and cranny of what we do in the business. Plus, he's surrounded by all of us who've been in the business. Watching him estimate versus guys we've brought in straight out of college, I mean, they're lost with a lot of the stuff. They don't know how to connect any of the dots. They know that all the dots are there, the spreadsheet's there, and they can throw things into that spreadsheet, but they don't know the reality of, okay, well, you need, you know, you needed this many guys or this many things, or the reality is you can't stand those panels with that size crane or all these other things. That comes with experience and time. So yeah. That's my advice is get on job, spend a couple years on job sites doing what our culture says don't do. What a lot of colleges say, just go.
Yeah, and there's times I'm like, should you even go to college? I'm like, I mean, now I feel like some of the best paying jobs are trades and hard work, and I don't know, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to tell my son. I'm like, you do whatever you want to do, I'll support you, but it was like, and there's a lot of good trades out there right now. I mean, I think about a concrete finisher. It's an art, and it's like they command good money right now. So if you can learn that trade, make some good money for you and your family.
You'll always have a job.
I think so. I mean, there's not a concrete company I don't know that's always looking. I mean, not looking for finishers, because they're hard to find.
Yeah, I had a conversation with one of my guys this past week, and I said, I always just catch him in the yard. Hey, what's going on? How's it going? Where do you want to be in 2 years? What do you want to be doing? Well, I want to be a project manager. I say, okay. What's the ambition there? Well, that's the top. I'm like, well, let's take a pause there.
Right.
If you're better at being on the job and making sure guys are doing certain things, your opportunity's bigger there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily that you've got to be in an office or whatever. Now, different reasons for that. When I moved from the job sites from an hourly position to a salary position in the office, I actually took a pay cut.
Right.
Because at that time my value was higher finishing concrete, running a crew of guys finishing concrete. Moving to the office, I was learning all that. I didn't know what I was doing. My value wasn't there. Now that's changed. I've grown and we've, that's changed over time, but I don't think our culture does a good job of telling these young guys your opportunity can be I don't know, like driving a trash truck.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's an opportunity there or not, but those jobs are needed. I know some very successful, wealthy people that have septic trucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nasty job.
Right.
But
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got, and it's always going to happen.
Yep.
I mean, it's not going to stop.
Yeah, I always like I always see the sign, we're number one in the number two business. Kind of like that, as a septic tank owner. That would be my slogan. We're number one in the number two business. That would be my on the sides of my truck if I did it.
Your next venture?
I don't, maybe not. Yeah, and that's the thing about it's hard, man, because you need every position. Like you need truck drivers, you need mechanics, you need finishers, you need laborers, you need project. I mean, it's like you can't, not one position's worth. For me, it's like I wish I could pay everybody the same. You know what I mean? Because it's like everybody brings value to get the job done every day, and that's a hard thing for me. Is when I've had this guy and he's great and he's a Class C or B license, and I got to pay this guy more than A just to start, and I'm like, man, but this guy's my guy and he's awesome and he does everything and he's doesn't complain, and it's like. It's hard to validate that, man, for me. I don't know. I get stuck in that. I understand it. Guys go to school for it, whatever, but it's hard for me to say, well, this guy's worth more than this guy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I feel like that probably the same with you guys, I mean, you need project managers just like you need superintendents, just like you need guys finish concrete.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always been a tough one.
Well, we've got our long tenured guys. We've got guys that have I was working side by side in the summers before I went full time, and they're superintendents now. They're running crews. The guys have been there 22 plus years. So we're thankful and blessed to have grown with them through this, and they're pillars of our company. I might have the title of a operations manager where I have more authority and responsibilities in certain areas, but I don't do it without these guys.
Right.
It'd be a whole lot harder probably for me to step into another business and do this, not having that rapport and that respect built up with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
But they know if they're in a bind, I'm here to set them up for success.
Right. Whether
that means me finding them tools, other guys, or me specifically going out there and helping them in certain areas. So yeah, we don't have a ton of turnover. We're also a smaller company than some of the bigger commercial concrete companies. So we're not just, turning over laborers and stuff. And, if we've got a guy that's, you hear through the grapevine, hey, this guy's looking at maybe jumping ship or whatever, I run out to the job and have a conversation. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
You need something else? You need, you want more opportunity?
Yeah.
It always goes back, I need $2 more an hour. Well, that's what everybody says. That's just the thing that's keeping them from leaving.
Right.
For a short time. But it's really, well, I'd really like to grow in this area, and I'm feeling roadblocked, or I feel more, you know, the drive is this. Well, sometimes you can shift a guy around to another crew that he's riding. Just get him back in his lane and operating to where he can go home, his family, and his family. I know this when I was going through tough times and some personal struggles in life. If I come home and complained about my job because work sucked that day,
Yeah.
I always heard, well, why you still work there? Why don't you quit?
Yeah.
And if we hear if our spouses are telling us that, it's going to happen at some point. You're going to quit.
Right.
You're gonna go on to something else.
Yeah.
Make sure if there's something that we can be doing differently, to uh, help them in whatever they feel like they need, then we will. I've I've always been I want people to want to work there. If they don't want to work there,
Same.
I don't.
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. If you
I'm
don't,
not gonna
if
go
you
out
don't
of my
want,
way.
right. If you don't want to work here, we don't want you to work here.
Yeah.
But kudos to Kenny for talking to the guy, finding out what he wants or what his needs are and how he can help him instead of just being like, oh, yeah, just let him go. Well, we don't need him anyway, which is probably a majority of the people
Yeah.
in business. So true leadership on his part to take the time to care about the person and man, it's just this you don't get that every day, and that I think that means a lot. Uh, if I worked for somebody like that, that makes me want to stay.
Yep.
Money's not everything. I'm happy here. Guy works with me and my family on going to ball games, or I get an extra day off to be with my wife. She had a baby. Sometimes that's way more value than money, I think.
Couple dollars.
Yeah, and I guess as an old man now at 50, you learn more. As you get older, you learn more about money's not everything, man. It really isn't. That's what I've learned, and I take that away as like, it's nice resource to help do things or even help other people give, but it's not worth being miserable for a
Right.
dollar amount,
No,
Just
I've
remember that,
seen.
young buck.
No, I'm learning that every day as well.
Yeah.
There's something very there. If you can find a place of contentment, and that comes for me. That comes from in my prayer time with God, what He's showing me. If He's blessed me with contentment and gives me peace, even when things are like upside down, sideways, and it's like, well, that's okay because I know I have a contentment that's been given to me. And that's just a good place to be when
For
you
sure.
can have peace through that, because there's always going to be storms. There's always going to be
Yeah.
That valley.
more money, that more grass is greener, as the term goes. And
Yeah.
I've seen it over and over and over as people come, and our statement is, this is what we can offer you, whether it's time with your family or home every night or whatever. We can't pay you as much as this what you were making before, but we can keep you home. That's your trade off.
Yeah.
It's their decision if they want to make that trade off or not. And I always try to keep it the employee's decision whether they work there or not. I'm not going to try to pressure or force or anything, because again, I want them to make the decision that, yep, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm trading. This is what I'm trading off to work here, because it's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times they come back a
Yeah.
year or two down the road, and
Yeah.
there's a couple guys that they call me every 4, 5, 6 months. Hey, you got a job for me over there? I'm like, I do, but you know what it looks like.
Yeah.
And they just can't give up that dollar that they're making running around the country. And
Yeah.
and that's fine. If that's what your family needs and that's what you need to do for your family, that's your decision. That's not how we operate here. This is what we all have to offer.
Yeah, and I find that very not normal that a guy cares enough to talk to old employees and just see how they're doing and walk with them through life and even take them back at some point. Man, that's
Yeah. It's real.
man. You don't again, man. American Concrete is the real deal. And I don't say that just because Kenny's my bud and I think he's awesome and he's the greatest dude I've ever met. But I mean that because like it's just rare. It's very rare.
Well, I look at a lot of things in management, like I try to sit in their shoes. I try to look at, and I can't do that because everybody's life is different.
Yeah.
But overall, in general, I have learned, and this hasn't always been this way, but I learn every conversation I have,
Yep.
every person I run into, how they're doing things, how they're handling situations. I try to learn from other people, good and bad. If
Yeah.
people are doing bad things, I know that's
Ooh. Yeah.
not going to operate that way or doing certain things. Hi, how's it? Why is that working? What I want to take away from that. But we've also in the last couple of years, I really shifted my mindset to be. I'm not operating in fear of an employee leaving. My mindset is if somebody comes here and we want to give them the opportunity opportunity to work there until they retire their career. But if we can't provide that because our culture is this way or limitations, I want to be a springboard for that person into their next venture.
Yeah.
And every exit interview I've ever had with those people has been that way. Like they're oh man, I'm sorry. I'm like, hey, it's good.
Yeah.
If we've helped you in any way over the last year, 2, 3 years, if we've helped you grow, and sometimes it's frustrating because you invest a lot into a person.
Right.
But my heart is for the people. It's not for American Concrete.
Yeah.
My heart's for how can we help other people in life.
Yeah.
I think you got a sign in your break room. I was getting my coffee earlier, and it says something about rising other people up.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's there's so much blessing in helping other people.
Yeah. A whole lot. And I was gonna ask, like, have you been to leadership classes, or is this basically just meeting with people and
Like
like
lived
you just
experience.
you just living it through others you've talked to? Is this faith based, or have you been like to, I don't even know the leadership class because obviously I've never been to one. Like Maxwell, I don't even know what they're called. It's like I'm going to the Sigma 6 Maxwell class or something.
John Maxwell.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is it like have you got a lot of that from books or whatever, or is it just you've learned it? I mean, just
A
day to
lot
day.
of it's the way my brain operates is if I have a situation, I'm analyzing that, and you can ask my wife. She gets frustrated with me because she'll want an answer on something. She'll ask me some questions about something, or we'll leave church, and she'll be like, "Hey, what do you think about this and that?" I'm like, I'm processing. I'm analyzing. I'm applying that to my experiences in life, how that's worked, and sometimes that takes me a long time
Yeah.
to thoroughly digest and build my thoughts on it. But yeah, just growing up in the construction industry, and you see a lot of bad. You see a lot of the drugs, alcohol, the you know just a lot of the stuff that it pulls you away from the good.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I had parents that were pretty intentional with letting us know where that line of good and bad is.
Mm-hmm.
What things are profitable for you and when things are not.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had to be 20 years old. Yeah, 20 years old. I just bought my house, making like $10 an hour, working stayaways. All the guys would go to the strip club when we out of town. They go to strip club. Monday morning, they're all asking me to borrow money, and these guys are making double or whatever
Right,
what I'm making.
right.
I'm like, I'm like, oh yeah, you need $40. Oh, you need to eat. I don't really know. I'm just oblivious. But after a while, you start to see these trends, and one of the guys that was my age, he kept tagging along with them, and he'd be broke every week. And we'd be like, dude, we just worked 80 hours last week. Where's your money? I got a mortgage to pay. I can't even, I'm on the dollar menu at McDonald's. And the statement was made, well, you can't bash it till you try it. And I was like, oh, I can completely bash it before I try it.
Yeah.
I can see, I guess what I'm getting at is I can learn from other people's lives.
Yep.
I
Good and bad. Right.
Good and bad.
Yep.
Yep. I see people making certain decisions, and God's really started pushing that on my heart now, where I don't just stay in my own bubble on those things. I think we're called to help a brother if he's stumbling or he's walking a certain path, and used to be like, well, he's making dumb decisions. That's his issue.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to stay out of that.
Yep.
You just become Mr. Judgmental or whatever.
Right.
That's not where I'm at anymore.
Yeah.
You know, if I cared for somebody, I'm not caring for them by being quiet on it.
Right.
So I'll go, you know, hey man, I see this is going on. You know, let's talk about
Yeah.
this. You know, what's going on here?
It's a sin for you not to call out your brother,
Mm-hmm.
and right, if you're seeing them stumble and you're not saying anything, you're just judging them. I mean, I think it's not what Jesus would do. He would call them out and kind of help them and
Yeah.
be there with them.
And I want that for myself too. You know, I've got brothers that we get lunches and check on each other, and
Yeah.
I got guys, from many communities in my life, adventures I've had all around the world, honestly, and I still talk to them pretty regularly. Hey, what's going on? How's the family? What's going on? Hey, what do you got to put you on my heart today to call you? So what's going on with you? And oh man, this happened today, and man, you called me at the right time. So, well, it's not me. It's the Lord gave me that word to give you a shout. And well, what do you think about this? And like, I don't always have even clarity on an answer, but I do know that the Bible does.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let's dive into this together. Let me reach out to one of my friends who's dealt with something similar and get some wisdom from them. And I want to bring that back and have this conversation. So I thrive off of that, those conversations.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Two is better than one.
For sure, man.
That's awesome.
So we have to talk about Kenny being the American Ninja Warrior. If I didn't, I would get hate mail on my podcast, which only maybe 2 people may watch. But for those 2 people, my mom passed away, so I'm sorry. But my sisters, both of my sisters, probably will watch it, and they would be like, well, "What about? I know this guy was on American Ninja Warrior. Why didn't we bring that up?" So let's talk about American Ninja Warrior. What made you get into? I mean, I don't even know how you train for. I mean, just like on the monkey bars one day, you seen it on TV, or what? What made you get into that?
I didn't even know what the show was, and I heard like 3 or 4 people had mentioned, "Hey, you need to go do that American Ninja Warrior," and I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't even grow up with TV, so we never even watched. I mean, hardly anything.
Mm-hmm.
So straight into work. Then I'm working all the time. I didn't have time to watch. And if I had free time, I'm going adventuring. I'm going to get into snowboarding or rock climbing or just adventure, physical stuff. And growing up with the Matson boys, they're as competitive as it gets. So we're running around the woods, seeing who can climb the biggest trees and hang down the branches. I mean, that was our life. So
Right.
so no, Ryan McRae was one of those guys that was like, yeah, you need to do that American Ninja Warrior, because I worked with him for many years, and so he was one of them. I think Justin Foltz might have been another one. Just a handful of guys on job sites.
Yeah.
We'd be out there arm wrestling or seeing who can hang from a bar the longest or something. And
Right.
so anyway, it kept coming up, and finally I was like, I looked it up. Well, I couldn't find it because this is kind of before YouTube was really a big thing.
Yeah.
We found the Sasuke, that Japanese version. Just a couple glimpses of it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That'd be really fun,
Yeah.
but didn't really get into it. And then a buddy of mine that I was on the wrestling team with in high school, he came back from Colorado and wanted to go rock climbing together. So we went, and another one of our buddies that from the wrestling team came, and I didn't really know him that well. We were on the team, but he was a senior. I was a freshman, and when my buddy went back to Colorado, Chad and I, who's the other guy, the senior, we were like, hey, that rock climbing was fun. Let's do that again. So we got connected and started doing it. Well, naturally in concrete, what's the things that you get the most strength from? It's wrist strength and grip strength,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
just grinding through a 17-hour day, hand screeding and drawing edges. And so rock climbing was, and I don't carry a whole lot of weight, so rock climbing came pretty naturally to me. Just to, so I was able to do at a higher level than a lot of guys that got into it could.
Right.
And so then Chad was like, hey man, you need to try American Ninja Warrior. It's like, what are we talking about here?
Right.
He's like, hey, come down to the Creekside Park. I've got some obstacles built in this thing over here. So we went over there, and he had a little cliffhanger ledge in there, and it's all still there. I checked the other day.
Oh, really?
That's cool.
He had some hanging doors, and he hung them up, and I was just like boom, 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 all that stuff. It came naturally to me, and so he was pretty excited, and he's like, "Well, we're gonna do audition videos. We're gonna apply for this thing." And I had just got married. I just moved back down here from 6 months up in Michigan, getting married. And I was like, man, I don't know if I have time for all this. I'm a married man now, and moved my wife to somewhere where she's got nobody. And
Right.
so we, just kept playing around with it, and we threw together some pretty cringy videos. I'm not a guy that's really good with all the antics, and that's what a TV show is, right?
Yeah.
It's entertainment.
Yep.
So we threw them together, and I did it just because, Chad was all fired up about it, and he wanted, and I like doing things with guys.
Yeah.
I don't like doing a lot of things by myself. So threw these videos together, nothing's happened, and he texted me one day, he's like, hey, I don't think we got the calls because all the people that are going on the show have been called, but there's a walk-on line that's gonna usually starts like a day or two ahead of the show, and we could go down and get in line and camp out for a couple nights and get a chance to go on this course. And I'm like, my anxiety is just like, I do not want to be part of this. I don't want to be in no spotlight. I don't want to be nothing. But it's like, yeah, man, because 5% chance anything would ever happen.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, we'll entertain it. Well, he texted me. It was a Saturday night. He said, hey, and the show was going to be a Saturday away. He said, hey, the walk-on line has started. I just got word from somebody down there in Florida. The walk-on line has started. We got to go now.
People already getting in line a week before, like
week
camping
before.
or whatever?
Yeah, I was thinking
Wow.
like 2 days.
Yeah.
Historically, it was a day or two.
A lot of people wanted to be on it.
No doubt.
Yeah, so this was season 6. So this was just when it was becoming, more popular. And 2014, 15 or somewhere in there. And so I was like, man, I don't have the money to fly to Florida and miss a week of work. I've got obligations. I'm leaving my wife behind. He's like, well, I had helped him with clearing a lot for him to build his house, like a month before. It's like, hey, I'm covering all expenses. You gotta go. You gotta go with me. So I talked to Maria, my wife, and she's like, yeah, that's a TV show, right? Like, you're gonna be on a TV show. I'm like, yeah, it ain't, it's not gonna happen. I'm just going to support Chad.
Yeah. So Chad tried out too. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we go down there and we get off the airplane, and we seen somebody he recognized walking. He's like, leave our bags. We gotta go. So we ditched all our stuff, jumped on a little subway thing, jumped on another tram, and ended up in Bayfront Park in Miami, Florida at like 2 a.m. Come walking up in the dark to sign in on like a self moderated list of walk-ons. And we were number 13 and 14 in line. And they typically take like 6 or 7 people. So we're here a week early, 13 and 14 in line. And I'm like, there's no chance this is happening. But it'll be a cool experience to see a TV show behind the scenes, whatever. So anyway, fast forward, we did end up getting a chance to get on the course. I ended up in second place in the regional finals.
Heck yeah.
Somehow.
That's awesome.
It was just kind of a blur. I was just doing it. And so then I went to national finals and fell on just one of those hit or miss obstacles. But that put a fire in me to see where I stacked up against everybody and what I could do, training out in Vegas with all these elite guys I've seen on TV, and I'm able to do a lot of things they couldn't do just because concrete and grip strength and stuff. So I was like, okay, there's something here, and this is fun. And so the next year they actually called. We put in some videos, and they called because I was able to perform enough. They called and invited me back, and I can't remember. I got my years all mixed up, but I did 6 seasons on the show. But through that journey, I was so frustrated. I was doing it for me. I was very selfish in my time with it. I was just so driven to conquer this thing.
You were training like back over here? You were doing some training.
and I didn't necessarily get a lot of time to train, but I'd travel on a weekend to a gym in Georgia because they had obstacles because there was no gyms around.
Right.
Just and rock climbing and just trying to get better at something. And then my daughter Hazel was born, and she was born. I started having seizures when she was 12 days old. That ended up, hospital. Congenital nephrotic syndrome, which means she needed a kidney transplant. So we were parked in the hospital, and I was at a time where I went from very selfish, I'm gonna do this thing for me, to why am I falling on something that I should have never fallen on the show? Like, how did I get DQ'd on this obstacle? Like, that's not even not fair, not right. I put too much work into this, and then God kind of started showing my heart that it wasn't about. He didn't put me there and give me this opportunity for me. Now there was an opportunity for a bigger purpose, and speeding up through some things. I did perform pretty well on some seasons, but the biggest thing was my daughter Hazel. We shared her story on there. They came here and did a whole hometown, so we have it all documented.
Awesome.
From the show, and that's how we found her kidney donor.
Dude, it was all worth it, man.
Yeah, so right there was like, there was a lot of negative from the ninjas about how this show just takes advantage of us. That we didn't get paid for nothing. It was all, you just kind of use and abuse. And
That's what the other contestants would say.
yeah. And that, for me, I was like, you know what? I've already gotten more out of this show than anybody ever will.
Right.
So through this, work was crazy. Ninja was a lot. Man, I built up a ton of stress and anxiety, and I didn't recognize it at the time, but just all this performance anxiety, that's normal. I mean, I'm throwing up for 3 weeks before going on the show and performing, and I'm like, I'm never doing this again. Every day, I'm never doing this again. This is miserable. This is nothing good about this. And then I do it, and in the moment I'm done, it's gone. And I'm like, yep, I'm not doing it again. I'm not starting that over. So, but because my daughter received the kidney transplant, and it was like thousands of people that wanted to help, and that's with kidney donation or organ donation in general. That's the biggest hurdle, is just getting the word out there that there's a need.
Right.
And I'm like, man, God has taken something that I was doing for me.
Yeah.
Planted me in something I would have never done for me, because I don't want to be I didn't want to be on a stage. I don't like being in front of people. I don't like being the center of anything.
National television.
Yeah. And he grew me into that position, showed me how he utilized that and the growth through that to help my daughter find life. So then the next year I was like, this is not about me anymore. I need to figure out, if I'm going to keep doing this with all this anxiety, it needs to be bigger than that. So I was praying about it, and God kind of led me to the transplant coordinator, and I said, hey, I need a really good reason to keep going back and doing this thing I'm good at, but I hate doing. It wrecks me. Is there any kid that needs a transplant like real bad? And they said, yeah. Immediately gave me the name, and they basically said that this kid has, just take him home and let him live his last days. And I'm like, wow. I've been blessed enough to not have to hear those words.
Right.
I was looking for an excuse to not go back.
Yeah.
And God said, no,
here's
the reason right here. So Jordan Rhodes was the reason. And so I kind of just followed where that was leading, and Jordan received a transplant.
That's awesome, man.
He got 3 more years of life.
That's phenomenal.
He passed away from some other things not too long ago, but he was able to get 3 more years of life, and it's all the side stories that come along with all this stuff. I mean, we could sit here and talk for days on a lot of it, but
for sure.
And then 2 more seasons, 2 more kids, girl named Liza and a boy named Dillard. I got to meet and spend time with, and they both received transplants, either directly from me sharing them, or just the realms of people that had watched and been encouraged. And some of the messages I got on I I don't know how a lot of social media works. I don't get on there a whole lot, but
Right.
I go and see some messages from years ago that I'd never seen, and they're like, "Hey, just want thank you for sharing the need. My husband and I wanted to do something for our 30th anniversary, so we decided we're going to go each donate our kidneys for our 30th anniversary."
Man,
Wow.
So just
That's
a lot of cool
fantastic.
stories like that. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
gave me a purpose
Yeah.
bigger than a TV show for me.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I guess what's a way if somebody wants to give a kidney or find out more about that? What's a website or how do you go about that?
So I would just call your local hospital,
Uh-huh.
and there's a transplant. If there's not one there, they'll refer you to another one. But just look up some of the transplant centers,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll find you some way to match. And it's not just that say you needed a kidney,
Yeah.
and I'm not a match for you, and that guy needed a kidney, and same as not a match for him, but the other guys are matches, but we don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You do like a donor swap. So I would donate to this guy, Sam would donate to you.
Yeah.
It's like just a paired
Yeah.
donation deal. So there's
That's
all
neat,
kinds of
man.
cool
That's
ways to
insane.
do it.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal,
That's
man.
awesome.
That's so good.
So you inspired that couple to donate their kidney, and you said that was just one out of the many.
Yeah. So things like that. When I've learned in life, whether it's Ninja Warrior or an adventure I'm on or business, like I can get pretty wrapped up in doing what I think I want to do or need to do.
Yeah.
And if I'm not careful, I'll miss that calling of what God's trying to do in it.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to be more intentional with all that and see, what's the real purpose here.
Yeah, and to me, again, the podcast, it's about that right there. That story is way more important than pouring concrete. It's like
Yeah.
that's what we're looking. I think
I agree.
people's stories, hearing good stories like that is what that's what I like to do. So I like to talk to people, dig into them about, because that right there may change somebody's life. It already did, but it could change
Yeah.
more lives. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's why we're doing it for, man. We're doing it for this reason right here.
Let me add to that a
Go
little
ahead.
bit because having been on a national TV show and a big stage and stuff, I've had people say, "Man, if I had a platform or this or that, I could." And it's like, well, hold on a minute. God's not just putting people on big platforms and using them.
Right.
How are you talking to that person in the subway line? How are you responding to somebody who's being crabby to you? How are you responding to the guy they might not have seen you pulling out and this, and then they're mad and you're, you're frustrated because your kids, but how are you responding to those? There's opportunity right there to help change that person's day or that person's life.
That's right.
That's just as big of a platform. We all have that responsibility, I think, than me being on a big TV show. Now, granted, the show gets more views, more opportunity to share, a message and stuff. But I don't want people to miss the importance of everybody's individual life and how they're operating every day.
Right.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, and that's God, we talked about that. I feel like last night. You don't know when somebody's needing that. How are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just asking about them, showing that you care. How's your day, or anything can lift somebody's spirits up that you don't know what they're going for that they need it.
Absolutely.
So I mean that's true. Everybody's got that opportunity to make a difference in somebody's day, and a lot of us, myself including, we let it pass us by too many times. When we're like, oh man, that's not going to make a difference, but it really could. And I mean that was well said. I guess just kind of closing it out. What's next for you, man, in business and in life?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've been in some deep prayer.
Yeah.
For what the only thing that I can say right now is next in life is my family.
Yeah.
That is my focus right now.
That's important.
How am I as a husband, first of all? How am I handling the responsibility of not just that, but as the responsibility of being a father. The world where I'm raising two daughters in right now is a crazy world. It's going to be changing. I don't know. I know what my experience was, but theirs is going to be totally different.
You homeschooling?
We are. It's a homeschool
Good choice.
hybrid, homeschool hybrid program that they're in. So they go to a school down here in Asheboro. It's Asheboro Hybrid Academy. Started in during COVID, maybe the year before COVID. But we started there in COVID, and it started out of a church. There's like 6 kids in Hazel's class. We just didn't feel like dealing with all her medical stuff with the kidney transplant.
Sure.
We were done with masks.
Sure.
We were done with, we wanted her to have some stuff. She had looked forward to school for so long.
Yeah.
Go be around other kids, which she hadn't really been able to do. So we're like, we're finding somewhere where she can have a little bit more of a normal school, not learning out of a screen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I plan to be a key guy at American Concrete for my career. God can obviously change that. He can show me something different if that's where it goes. I'm just trying to be very in tune with, what his plan is. But family, how is God utilizing me, not just for my family, but in the world, whether it's to American Concrete, at my church, wherever that's going to be.
Yeah.
What's so you've been through a lot, Kenny. So what's one like good piece of advice to a young man, trying to build something and in this crazy world, and what's one piece of advice you'd give them? And
well, I think I would credit everything good in my life comes from the Lord.
Oh, amen to that.
So that's the root and foundation of a lot of that. I would, if somebody doesn't know the Lord, I would go talk to guys that do. Go find, get plugged in at a church and see what the Lord has to say. As far as just in business and character and all that, I do a lot of things that stemmed from one thought I had years ago. I do the cold plunges. I've been trying to get Chris over there here. I don't like cold. I hate cold water, hate every bit of it. It's mental warfare.
It is, man.
But there's something that comes from conquering these little things. So a lot of the hard things I do, I used to chase comfort.
Yeah.
Our culture says you need to have a beach house so you can sit on the beach and do nothing.
Yep.
Well, there's no growth there for me. I'll be 39 next month. I feel like I've already missed out on some of the growth years that I wanted because I was chasing comfort.
Yeah.
Don't chase the comfort.
Right.
I had this thought. I was walking on a job site one time, and I was just in a bad mindset about some things. And there was a guy dropped a candy wrapper or something off of his lunch, and it fell on the ground and it's blown. I was like, thinking, you need to pick that up.
You told him that?
No, I was thinking it. I was too crabby to be telling anybody something, and it wouldn't have gone well. But I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm starting to judge. Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, well, you know what? I do some of the same things. It might not be a candy wrapper or garbage or whatever. So I picked it up myself, put it in the trash, and then it must have been 2 days later. I was doing something, and a wrapper blew out of my hand. It wasn't even, and I was like, I could just no. A little bit of self-accountability came in right there. Yeah. I'm judging him for a candy wrapper or trash.
Yep.
Now, my circumstances are a little different. I could have made the excuse that it blew out and it wasn't worth running at, whatever. Ever since that day, candy wrapper, if the toilet roll is empty in the bathroom, the things that I don't think are my responsibility, or I shouldn't be picking up the ice cube that guy dropped on the floor in the kitchen at your place of work. Well, I didn't drop it there. It shouldn't be mine. But I do it. I clean it up. And that's not for anybody else. It's for me to build my own habits of if these young guys are doing the little things, they're going to do the big things right. They're never going to run away from the big things. They're not going to look for the comfortable, easy route.
Right.
So the candy wrapper.
Yeah, dude. That's
great. Yeah.
A small thing like the candy wrapper. Man, that's a smack in my face because I'm one that I used to always complain about stuff, and it was like, just shut up and do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna complain about the wrapper in there, and like go tell the guy pick it, but just pick it up, man,
Mm-hmm.
for yourself. So that's the words of wisdom coming out in Kenny's new book, Words of Wisdom by Kenny Niematelo. No, dude, we appreciate your time. This has been phenomenal. Anything else you want to add, or Kenny, you want to add to about anything?
No, I think
No.
I think that was
This has been awesome, man. We appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming on. Again, I think 2 to 3 people will watch this, and if it gets to 1, they're gonna love it and learn some lessons, man.
if it gets to one and
That's-
they take one little drop of wisdom out
That's
of
it, brother.
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
all that matters.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Kenny.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Thank you.